Oh, 10-20. 10-20. These people are tripping. I'm on the East Coast. Shout out to anybody watching on the East Coast. 10-20. At least it's a Friday night. As we watch the end of this American Conference game, Michael Pratt and Seth Hennigan squaring off. I was impressed with Michael Pratt as a freshman. It is, reseller Rick. It's way too late. Thank you for joining. Tampa. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, so I'm in East Coast time too. 10-20. We're going to watch it, though. Colorado can go over its team total today because I'm pretty sure it was what? It was 4.5, right? They could go over. Travis Hunter is back. I tell you what, before this game starts, I saw it on DraftKings. Travis Hunter's over-under for receiving yardage today. Now, remember, this dude is going to be on a pitch count. I bet you he is not going to play a lot of wide receiver versus this 1-4 Stanford team. His over-under on receiving yardage, let me bring it up here, 67.5. I would smash that right now in DraftKings. I think it's -112, -110, something like that. If you can get it in before the game starts. He's going to be on a pitch count. He might even just play defense. That's what I would do. Regardless, he's going to be on a pitch count. I'm taking the under on 67.5 yards receiving for Travis Hunter. Some other player props from DraftKings that I saw. Shedeur Sanders, 2.5 TDs. That's -195. So I'm not touching that one. Jimmy Horn over-under is 73.5. Travis Hunter, as I said, was 67.5. Go ahead and smash that under. He's going to be on a pinch count if it's still available. If it's still available, I would smash that. Xavier Weaver's over-under is 85.5. Couldn't find anything for Alton McCaskill. Couldn't find anything for the running backs there. But, yeah, I couldn't find anything for any of our Stanford players. Benjamin Urasek, Casey Filkins, E.J. Smith. We'll see who Stanford starts out at there, if it's Justin Lamson, if it's Ashton Daniels. Somebody, if you're in the chat and you can explain to me what happened between the Hawaii game and now with how they're treating that quarterback position. Ashton Daniels starting and then Justin Lamson, they've been kind of splitting time. If you know what's going on there, let me know. 10-20. Start time. Woo! Devil is a lie. It's 10-20 start time. If you haven't already, go ahead and like the video. Let's see if we can get some more people in here. If you don't know what we're doing at campus2can.com, I really encourage you to check out the website. We're playing fantasy football with these guys. With Michael Pratt, Seth Hennigan, Blake Watson playing right now. I like this freshman wide receiver for Tulane. I like big wide receivers. 6'5", 190 pounds, number 17. Let me see who that is for Tulane. I like what I saw from him. He just got the offensive pass interference play. I might have to add him to my rankings. Go ahead and like the video. Maybe we can get some people in here. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers here before we get to the end of the college football season. We're trying to grow the college fantasy game, the C2C format. I hope you know what that is. The C2C format. You get to follow your favorite college players from their freshman season to the end of their NFL career. So you got a full college team and a full NFL team. And when your college players declare for the NFL draft, they're added to your NFL team. That's it. That's what Campus to Can is. Well, it's a website and a fantasy football format. We love it because we get to spend – it was 2 weeks ago. It was like 49 straight days of football. The majority of that is college football. So there are people tuning in right now who have Shedeur Sanders, Xavier Weaver, Michael. I got Michael Pratt going in one game. It's just so if you love football, and I do. I mean, I've loved it since my uncle played in the. He was a 12-year vet in the NFL, left tackle for the Arizona Cardinals. I can remember hanging from his arm. I've loved football since I could remember, and after college, this was a thing that reignited my interest, not just in college football, but football overall, because it involves scouting. It involves, projecting players to the NFL. Michael Penix Jr., Michael Pratt, Jamison Williams, Ramondre Stevenson, some of these guys who didn't have a lot of eyes on them. When you like scouting talent, you get into campus can leagues, you can pull those types of guys. Kind of like what Coach Prime is doing at Colorado. Yeah, Rick says Prime is not happy with that time either. I know he's not. He's probably still on Central Time. He's still, not many people doing. Listen, not people doing a lot of content or videos on college fantasy football. We are here because we love it. So check out the website, campus2can.com. I should be watching Royola and Buford. So I was watching that earlier. I was flipping back and forth. Of course, my boy Justice Haynes, a Buford alumni. If you haven't checked that out, you can go check out the interview we did with Justice Haynes, Buford alumni. By the way, Nick Saban, get the boy on the field. Your running game ain't been, like that. So get the boy on the field. Buford alumni Justice Haynes. Hey, Cannon, tell me this. There are more NFL players playing in that Buford game or in this Memphis Tulane game? It's a good question. Throwing a pot of coffee. Jackson Missing, stand up. Hey, Kalamazoo, Michigan, right here. Born and raised, Kalamazoo Central, class of 2005, home of Derek Jeter. Well, welcome in, Kevin. Appreciate you coming in. Like the video. They got to start this game. They got to start it right now. I am not having a coffee at 10:20. It sounds nice, but I got to get up in the morning. A 10:20 start. But I do love having, a prime time event, college football on a Friday night. I was in Boulder for the Nebraska game, for the first home game, and it was hot and it was packed. Love Boulder. Avanti, Pearl Street Market, Steakhouse 316. Had dinner there with some guys that I met. I got to get back to Boulder. I will. I'll eventually get back there. Go ahead and like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're really trying to grow this college fantasy game, and there aren't a lot of torch bearers for college fantasy. The networks aren't promoting it, so we're going to grow it right here. We can do it. We can do it with your help. Go ahead and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hopefully this thing gets started in a second because I might fall asleep right here on camera. Stanford's still an entertaining team. They got that coach from Sacramento State. Speaking of college fantasy, who was it? Ashton Hatcher. What was that? What was the quarterback from Middle Tennessee State who ended up transferring to Sacramento State? Somebody will know it in the chat because he went to Sacramento State and we never really heard from him again. I remember I got a DM from his dad one time. Ashton something like that. Stanford's going to have better days. They're going to have a fun offense with that coach at the helm. They should. I think it's still going to be tough to recruit there. But from a college fantasy perspective, Asher O'Hara, thank you, Nick. Nick, if you want to come on, you're more than welcome. I think you know where the StreamYard links are, Nick. So you can come on if you want to. Any of the Campus to Can family, you can come on if you want to. Yes, Asher O'Hara. One of my big mistakes early on in Campus to Can leagues is taking Asher O'Hara in like the third or fourth round, just because I saw his name and saw how many points he was scoring all over the place at Middle Tennessee. Asher O'Hara, we never heard from him again. That was one of my big mistakes. So that in that draft, I took way too early. I took George Helani from Boise State. I took Asher O'Hara. I took Tutu Atwell. Now that ended up being okay, but still way too early. Should be focusing on those 5-star prospects who you can project for higher draft capital at the top of your Campus to Canton startup drafts. And if you don't know what that is, hey, let me know in the chat. Any bold predictions for the game? It's Colorado by 12.5. I don't think that they cover. They didn't cover last week against Arizona State. Which team is worse, Arizona State or Stanford? I feel like Arizona State is in a worse position. So I'm going to go with, I don't think Colorado covers the 12.5. I would take Stanford on that. More in the Buford game. more NFL draft picks in the Buford game. I mean, you might be right. I think it's going to be interesting in Georgia next year because you have Dylan Royola going there. I think Carson Beck stays. You still got Gunnar Stockton and Brock Vandegrift there. So I know Vandegrift was a 5-star. Was Gunnar Stockton a 5-star or was he a high 4-star? Regardless, somebody's going to transfer from that school after this year because you throw Dylan Royola into the mix. He's the number 1 quarterback in the class. Those 2 backups aren't going to play there. Shout out to Carson Beck, too, by the way, who immediately, when he's in the same class as Brock Vandegrift. And he was, you watched that spring game, it was Stetson Bennett in there 1, and it was Carson Beck number 2 before Brock Vandegrift. I remember in an early freshman mock draft on WDB, Campus Cannon podcast feed, if you don't know, you can listen to us there too. I took Brock Vandegrift really, really early. I liked his tape. I liked what I saw. But, I understand now that the level of competition that he was playing there in Georgia just wasn't – I think it's Georgia. It was like one of these parochial school leagues, and the level of competition wasn't very high. Now, I will say this in my defense. One of the reasons why I gravitated towards him is because he was a Lincoln Riley commit first. So I'm like, all right, I'm getting Lincoln Riley's quarterback, the guy he wanted. Well, and then Caleb Williams became available, and that was that. But that's why I gravitated towards Brock Vandegrift. But that's going to be an interesting quarterback room next year. I love the domino effects that we see when, these quarterback rooms get crowded because you know that somebody's going to transfer. It's going to be the same thing in Alabama. Ty Simpson is not going to be there next year. I don't know if Tyler Buckner already transferred once. But I don't think Ty Simpson's going to be there, and I still believe in Ty Simpson. Probably a throw-in for your Campus Canton leagues now. Devin Brown at Ohio State. Does he stay beyond this year? You got Aaron Nolan coming in there this week here. So I'm surprised I got Travis Hunter on the field on offense. I would still take the under on DraftKings. It was 67.5. He's going to be the dude plays both sides of the field. He's going to be on a pinch count. Can't be playing out there with a lacerated, liver, kidney, whatever it was. I think I'm going to take the under on 67.5. You can let me know what you guys think. Some of the other Shador over under is 2.5 on the TDs, minus 195. I don't know why I wouldn't even bet that. Jimmy Horn, 73.5. Travis Hunter, 67.5. Xavier Weaver's over under is 85.5. Didn't find any lines for the running backs. I'll be interested to see if Alton McCaskill, excellent season, 2 years ago now for Houston. Houston keeps turning out these freshman running backs. You got Parker Jenks is there now. Alton McCaskill, of course, now here in Colorado. Let's see if he's healthy enough to, get more. He's played a little bit this year. Dylan Edwards had that game against TCU. And people out there spent their whole fab budget on Dylan Edwards. He might still be a good player. He's one of the fastest players in the country. But you are getting another 47-point game for Dylan now. He might not score 47 on the year. A quick 3rd and 11 for Colorado. I'm interested to see how they convert 3rd and longs because Sean Lewis's offense, at least early on, and he hits a Travis Hunter. Sean Lewis's offense early on has been, this dink and dunk run after the catch. We're going to take advantage of cornerbacks playing off, and they're not going to be able to tackle our guys. So I want to see, if a team can get this Colorado team in control first down, I think they'll be in a big advantage. Shador trying to have his Heisman moment here. That boy cannot run. That boy runs like an offensive lineman. Yeah, but if you can take advantage of Colorado on first down and get them behind the chains, I really think, that's the key in football in general. But for this team specifically, the way they've been playing is, the short dink and dunk stuff. So if I was, I would really be trying to get them behind the chains on first down, maybe throwing some blitzes there, tighten up my coverage to force quick passes, make a mistake on first down, try to get them in 2nd and 10. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. But I'm sitting here behind the mic. So who knows? And that's not Alton McCaskill. Is that Alton McCaskill in the backfield? I don't know what number he is. I don't know what number they gave him. Colorado, really early drive. I think we keep waiting for this is very unprofessional, Chris. You're supposed to be behind your microphone and at your desk.
I know. I'm not either of those things, but I am watching the game. And I've been impressed so far with Shedeur. I think he's made some quick reads, and I'm surprised Travis Hunter is in on the first drive, to be honest.
I am too. I'm going to throw in my headphones so that your sound isn't bleeding into my microphone. Let's turn these on. Let's see. Yeah, Shedeur has been, he's hella accurate in the intermediate game.
I mean, and that's really all you need from the Sean Lewis offense, right? I mean, that's what they're asking him to do.
Yeah. Early score. Is that Xavier Weaver? Are any of these Colorado?
I know what you're about to ask. Not more than like round 6 or 7 guys.
I think Jimmy Horn is the one with the best chance. I mean, other than Travis Hunter, who's probably going to get drafted as a cornerback. I think it's Jimmy Horn because Jimmy Horn is just in his 3rd year, right? I think Jimmy Horn is in his 3rd year unless he redshirted, and then Xavier Weaver's in his 5th. So
I think you're right about Horn. I mean, he was a guy that we liked at South Florida too. He isn't a new player to us. But yeah, he's pretty electric. Weaver really has a advantage because I think he knows how to manipulate a lot.
He's older.
Corners.
He should. He's been playing longer.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you haven't already, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow this college fantasy game, campus to Canton. If you don't know what that is, we basically get to follow these players from the time they're in college through the end of their NFL career. So basically, the way it works is you have an entire college football roster, fantasy roster, so you can draft, anybody that you're watching tonight: Michael Pratt, Parker Jenkins at Houston, Kevin Concepcion at NC State. Any of these guys, Poafili Ashlock at Hawaii. You draft them, and when they declare for the NFL draft, they're added to your NFL roster. And the NFL side of a Campus to Canton league works the same way as any other NFL fantasy league. So if that's something that you want to give a try, go ahead and check out campustocanton.com. I'm just amazed at some of the product offerings that we have at the website. Depth charts for 133 FBS teams, projected spreads, injury reports, data analysis tools, athletic comparison tools. If you want to go and compare, who's a hot name right now? Carnell Tate, Ohio State freshman wide receiver Carnell Tate. You want to go see what his athletic comparisons are? You want to go compare his freshman year to Devontae Adams' freshman year at Fresno State? You can do that. I don't know anywhere else where you can do that analytically. If there is, you can let me know in the chat. Speed up my internet. What's wrong with my internet?
I actually don't think you're that bad. You've been worse.
My internet
I'm not even on my mic, so I mean, yeah, it's been worse than it is tonight. I actually think you're fine tonight.
Why didn't anybody tell me this?
I thought you knew.
No one is everyone afraid of me? I know Chris isn't afraid of me. Chris will tell me.
I'm not afraid
on my bullshit.
I'm not afraid of you. I will call you out where it is. Oh yeah,
see,
look at us.
Of course. This man has a suit on. It is 10:30 at night.
This is a sweater.
He is a professional. He's a professional.
I live in Vermont. It's 40 degrees outside.
There's 2 professionals here in Christopher.
Well, so I am a little out of my element. I can't see my TV
I'm doing
setup.
The same thing. Yeah.
So I was on the fence But I can make it work. I'll get the iPads in going. But
ladies and gentlemen,
so
Mr. Nicholas
Ian
Allen, Mr. CFB winning
I can't
edge,
see anything.
Mr. CFB winning edge. We got to get you a bigger TV. We got to get you a 50 or 60 inch.
Could be, but then I run out of screens. So
yeah,
I got 5 screens, TV wise, 1 an iMac, so I can get like 8 ESPN Plus.
Chris, you sound fine, Chris. I'm just making fun of you. I'm just using what's on the screen.
If I don't sound good, I'll get behind a mic. But I'm honestly sitting on my couch.
It's a party.
Enjoying
it is a party.
College football. I mean, I just watched the end of the Memphis-Tulane game. Picked Tulane, was very transparent about it, and I posted on Twitter all about why I like them today, and they crushed. So
it hurts my feelings when you pick against the CFP winning edge projections, Chris. Even if you're right, more often than not.
Oh, we're on. I mean, for those who don't know, I mean, we're gonna kill our Ivy League stuff tomorrow.
We're on a bit of a roll. The Ivy League.
I think one of my favorite moments in the last 10 days, as far as creating content, was you two talking behind the during the show while we're trying to put on a professional show for our listeners. The tailgate. By the way, the tailgate tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time. These two talking about some Ivy League game.
But we were trying to respect the audience, who probably doesn't care all that much. And then call us out publicly, make us talk about it.
Marist? Was it Marist?
Yeah, Marist in Columbia. I messed that up. My apologies, everyone.
Although
the under was the right play the whole time. I should have known.
The official play of the under. So
we did get the under in there, but I was dumb and threw on the 23.5, and then I immediately said better hope for 24-0 because I knew Marist wasn't going to score.
All right, what happened? Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was going to say, as I know this crowd is so interested in, I think we're on Brown tomorrow for those who are interested, depending on when it opens up.
Highly likely we're going to be on Brown. Oh, I did. I just got a glance at this. This is my Colorado. Oh no, that's Walter Camp. This is Colorado. This is what we do. It's my Colorado postcard from 19.
Is that 16. What is it? Is that the?
That's Folsom Field
stadium.
Yeah,
that's Folsom Field. That's an old Folsom Field.
Mm-hmm.
That is the. They're called the iron. What is the mountain range there? It's called the Iron something.
Flatirons.
Rockies.
Flatirons. The Flatirons.
Yeah.
The Flatirons.
Oh,
they're all the Rockies, but they all have different names. But yeah, these
of course
the
they do.
Flatirons, and then Green Mountain. Flatirons.
I'm a lifelong Colorado fan, so of course I know what the stadium is called.
I mean, you were at their big win against Nebraska this year, right?
The home opener. I was there for 75% of the time before I said I'm not standing anymore.
Did you storm the field?
I knew that I wasn't even there by the time they started. I knew that they were going to, and I did not. I was too tired. I was standing the entire time, and it was hot out there.
Yeah,
met Pilar. I didn't meet Pilar, but I was definitely in her IG story. Dion's ex and Shador and Shiloh's mom. Saw Cameron, saw T.O., saw that's you got who's the guy from The Wire and Amari Hardwick. Saw Amari Hardwick, the actor Amari Hardwick out there. Robbie Shane, welcome to the chat. We appreciate you guys coming in. Whoever's in the chat, let us know where you're watching from. Reseller Rick, I have not seen his name before, so appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. You're way ahead in the game. I'm way behind. So not my microphone, but my television. You're telling me is way behind?
It's just the stream. We're always like 10 seconds behind. So yeah, they're gonna. Okay. Yeah, things are happening.
That's good.
I mean, I'm probably behind because I'm also streaming the game. But
where is Matthew? Phoenix, Arizona. What's up, Jim? My uncle played for the Cardinals for 12 years there in Phoenix. What schools do we have in Phoenix? We have Pinnacle. What are the
University
other?
of Phoenix.
What's the school that? What's the school that Dylan? Because Dylan Royola was going to go to Pinnacle this year, but he ended up transferring to Buford. But what was the school? He was in a school in Arizona. I can't remember what it was.
Where did Rattler go? Did he go to Pinnacle?
Pinnacle. Rattler went to Pinnacle. Deuce Robinson went to Pinnacle. The dude who transferred from Arizona to
Chandler.
Yeah, Chandler. But Dorian Singer. Dorian Singer went to Pinnacle too. Dorian Singer went to Pinnacle.
What do y'all think? So I don't mean to get back on football necessarily, but what do y'all think of the Stanford offense under Troy Taylor?
I was just about to say I'm disappointed. I
think they got the goods, but they don't have the personnel.
I was very optimistic heading into the season, and then my priors were confirmed in the first 2 quarters against Hawaii, and then it's been all downhill from then.
Yeah,
I think there's some things to like about. I saw some things in that Hawaii game I liked about Daniels, and then we've seen some glimpses from Lamson, but
who I always thought should be the guy.
Yeah, and then they've got. I mean, where's EJ Smith been?
He's out for the. Is he out for the year?
No, I didn't think he was even hurt. I didn't think he was playing.
No, he's got the ball.
Wait, for real? I just assumed that he was hurt. I haven't seen him do anything.
No, he just hasn't been playing very much.
I heard about this Tiger Bachmeier, and I haven't seen him. He was all the rage in the spring and in the leading up to camp. Tiger Bachmeier.
Hey, what's the name of the third Bachmeier brother?
There's Hank,
Bear,
Tiger, and
it's like Hank, Tiger, and Bears.
Yeah.
Like how
so they just didn't like
Hank get?
What should
4
they have
and 2.
given it? Where have your favorite places to watch the game? I think Michigan and Wisconsin have been some of my favorite.
EJ Smith has played in every game. Has played a combined 25 snaps the last 2 weeks with not a whole lot of production.
This person is not in. This fourth person here is not invited. Jim, I would say that my favorite place to watch a game would have been the Pontiac Silverdome, because that place held just as many people as the Big House in Michigan, except for the sound bounced off the ceiling and came back down. Now, when they built Ford Field, the whole left side, one side of the stadium has all of the corporate boxes, and it's a whole level of corporate boxes. Those people don't make a lot of noise. In the Silverdome, when the Lions were good, you needed to have earmuffs on because that place was so loud. The Ford Field, I've been to games there. It's just not as loud. So, but the atmosphere when the Lions were good, Pontiac Silverdome would have been my favorite place to see a game.
The loudest place I've ever been was the Georgia Dome, Michael Vick prime era. That place got loud.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's probably always gonna be a dome that is gonna be the loudest and the best atmosphere. Go ahead and like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it.
Well, I just think best atmosphere. I think loud. Yeah. When I was in school at Georgia, there was the blackout game against Auburn in 2007. That was maybe the best college atmosphere I've been a part of. That was pretty crazy. We all got excited because they were wearing a different color jersey. It was fun.
Nick, are we the same age? When'd you graduate?
I don't know. I have 03, class of 03.
Yeah,
I might be older than you. Yeah,
just a little. We would have been in high school at the same time. So,
I'm not gonna even mention when I graduated.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. No one asked you. No one asked you, Chris.
Yeah.
But I will say, like I've been to quite a few college football stadiums, and like I know this is maybe some bias, but Williams-Brice, South Carolina Stadium at night is like a different atmosphere. I mean, they get rowdy. The student section gets crazy. And I mean, I've been to a handful of games at other stadiums, especially in the SEC, but I'm telling you, Williams-Brice, for what it is a tough night environment. And so was Carter Finley, NC State. I mean, they're right down the road from me, but that's a tough place to play at night too.
I have heard impartial folks mention Williams-Brice and on a pretty short list. So
yeah, it's a tough place to play. I mean, you got a pretty rowdy and inebriated crowd for the most part.
So here's something that makes me feel old. I went to a game in the inaugural season for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and at their new stadium, and they are talking about how they're going to leave that stadium if they don't get a new deal.
Well, no, in Atlanta, I was at the game, the very last game at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, and they have since moved away from Turner Field.
How did these buildings?
Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, Turner Field, and now we're in.
I've seen football games at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we were Falcons season ticket holders. My grandmother got her picture taken with. At the time, it was a little more common for him to be called Neon Deion Sanders, to tie it back to the reason we're all here.
So Deion Sanders has a childhood friend who played football with him growing up, who is now a financial advisor. Well, I wouldn't call him a financial advisor. I mean, I guess, yeah, you could call him that. He was a banker and turned into
a man involved in finances.
Sure. Yes. The people, they have to say that they're not a financial advisor. Like, that's the disclaimer for all of these people. Sure. And anyway, he says that he's the one who gave Deion Sanders the nickname Primetime, and that's the one that ended up sticking. Yeah.
Oh.
Richard Fain on Twitter. Richard Fain. I mean, Twitter. YouTube.
I don't know if it's a secret, but the overarching interesting thing about Deion is that the prime persona, I think, is substantially different from his reality. I think he's just a very gets it, smart, non-confrontational, straightforward person in his non-prime persona, like Deion Sanders is.
Yeah,
the prime persona is so much different, and it works for him because it garners the attention, it garners the media, it does what it's intended to do. But there's so much different between Prime and Deion, and I don't know that that's always been the case. I think that it's kind of deviated a lot more in the last decade or so, because I think Deion and Prime were the same person when Deion was playing football/baseball. I think that that's probably largely true.
Ooh, touchdown! Is that Weaver?
Oh, you're ahead. You're ahead of me.
Oh no,
so
he's Miller. Hunter scored. Jeez.
Was that Travis? Oh man.
Yeah, he's going to go over Felix in the first quarter.
I really thought that he was going to play a limited snap.
Oh my goodness!
It does not appear to be the case.
They just lied. Well, listen, the over/under is 67.5, so they could get up and then take him out. I told everybody before they start to smash the under on 67.5. So,
I agree with you. That was.
Barnabas, how was the game?
Barnabas went
you were on location.
Primetime high school football game with his boy Mike, repping the logo. Show us the logo, Barnabas.
Right here.
There we go.
Nice.
There we go.
All right,
on
let's
location.
Go.
Did you guys? I hope we got some good video content.
We got there late. There was DC area traffic, rush hour traffic. So we got there right after kickoff. It was unfortunately timing wise. Mike was able to drop some old man knowledge to Mathis kicker today. So we did get a good shot of that. I don't know that we got any video for that, but it was a hell of a game, overtime, good counsel. For those of you not in the DMV area, Good Counsel and DeMath are just, old school powerhouses. They've been powerhouses in the DC area for a long time.
Did Caleb Williams go to one of those schools?
Relevant.
Caleb Williams went to Gonzaga Prep, which is also in the WCAC. But that Caleb Williams was the only reason why Gonzaga Prep was remotely competitive for a while in the WCAC. But DeMatha had the likes of like Nick Cross, the Quanjo brothers, a lot of those guys. And Good Counsel is home of Stephon Diggs and countless other guys of that nature. So, yeah.
Am I allowed to tell a not safe for work Stephon Diggs story on this stream or no?
We'll edit it out. We'll edit it out if it's not.
We'll edit it out, even though we're live.
Yeah.
I am very good friends with someone who went to high school with Stephon Diggs, and I can tell you that instead of going to prom, he rented a hotel room, and there were many visitors in his hotel room throughout the night, is all I will say. That's as vague as I can keep it.
That's not surprising whatsoever. It's considering I was a senior when Trey Diggs was in high school. And I remember this freshman literally walking off the field in the middle of the defense playing and just propositioning cheerleaders. So the old elder Diggs, I don't know if you remember back in the day, there was like Vikings video that went around in the locker room where they were like, which teammate would you not let date your sister?
They all said
categorically everyone said Diggs.
Diggs, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
no surprise there.
Yeah,
I do remember that. Yeah.
Ooh, what do you guys think of Royals? Jalen Royals, Utah State. He's exploded recently.
Is he the wide receiver?
Yeah. Listed at 6 feet 190, JUCO guy out of Georgia, 2020 class. Played 48 snaps last year. Didn't really do anything. This year, just blowing up.
I haven't seen
this game.
Utah State is such a weird team, right? I mean, second half. Like, I don't know what adjustments Blake Anderson is making or, like, what God he's praying to that could get him some second-half juju. But, I mean...
So, he had 7 receptions for 185 yards against UConn and then 6 for 140 against Colorado State. And now he's going off
over
right
100
now.
Tonight. Yeah, he's over 100 tonight in the first half. And then it looked like he got in. I didn't get a good look at it.
No, he did.
2-point conversion. He did? Yeah, he did it on him just by himself. But, so five touchdowns the previous 2 games, and I know he scored twice, I think, already. Yeah, he's currently 6 catches, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns, and we're early fourth quarter.
Yeah, he's a good player. I think he's been exceptional.
Let's see what year, how much eligibility he has left.
Utah State is a team who I think has certainly outperformed expectations as well. I mean, the first year that Anderson was there, they were 10-2 in the regular season. Took a step back last year. Now they're kind of back to where I thought they would be. I mean, Anderson is such a I don't know. I don't want to call him a tragic character, but he's dealt with so much loss in his life, and he's just persevered through a lot of it. I think that he's a really good head coach, and I think a lot of players can empathize with him. So it's not surprising to me that he has success because he's just such a down-to-earth, rational type guy.
That 2020, they were one of the early adopters of the heavy portal, and really remade that roster the first year, and it definitely paid off. But this past year, like I remember toward the end of the season, because I can't help but look ahead at team profile stuff, and I was thinking, man, this Utah State, specifically the defense, it's like I think they're going to be bringing back everybody, and then they all transferred. I mean, they by the time the season started, they were 128th in defensive returning production. I mean, they got decimated in the portal defensively.
Yeah, at least offensively, they're playing to their strength, which is what Anderson did at Arkansas State as well. So that makes sense.
I don't remember. It did have both Lamson and Daniels. I see Daniels on the field now. Has Lamson?
Oh, Lamson, I think started. I didn't see
Lamson
Daniels.
started,
Yeah.
so they're switching back and forth.
And that seems to be the case.
Oh, that's a great. That's always
No
worked,
idea.
right?
Well, so are they going to clear the way? Don't they have a like a high 4-star guy coming in? Something.
I mean, Miles Jackson is.
I don't know anything about recruiting, so I shouldn't have even asked.
Was Miles Jackson a 4-star, Felix?
I have no idea. A freshman there?
Three.
Okay.
Like they've got I think a pretty high profile guy committed. I could be completely wrong. Let's see here. Who won the Buford game? They went away to the Lakers preseason game when it was like 30 seconds left. Buford was in the red zone trying to tie it up.
I just saw some highlights from that game.
Elijah Brown,
Dominic Royal,
Matter Day, number 10 in 247.
Oh, really?
156 nationally.
He's a current freshman or next year.
He's in the 2024 class.
Okay, I was going to bring up the freshman guide. Read his profile.
Another small quarterback from Mater Day.
Committed to Stanford over UCLA, Alabama, Arizona State.
Another tiny guy.
Apparently.
What's up with the water in Matter Day, man? Dude's getting no calcium?
Let me tell you, Mike fell in love with a 5'7" safety today at Good Counsel.
That's the Mike Misfit toys.
Bob Sanders. Bob Sanders couldn't have been more than 5'8", 5'9".
This man was probably smaller than me, which you guys have, most of you have seen me in person. I am a small person. But that individual still ended the day with like 4 open field tackles, almost broke up a touchdown pass if he had just an inch and 20 pounds more on his frame. That was a good break, but going to be a good pass breakup. But he also finished the day with 2 interceptions. So, Mike was immediately like, yeah, who cares? Who cares how big he is?
Cannon in the chat said Buford lost. I was rooting against Buford, personally. We played them my last year coaching high school. Not a big fan.
I would not call myself a high-end evaluator of high school talent, but I had a good friend whose brother was playing on the Myers Park basketball team in North Carolina, and there was some dude on the other team that looked awesome. He sucks so bad, like I don't even think he got a single offer. And I was like, man, this dude's so slick. So. And Myers Park is not a bad athletic school. That's where Drake May went. So, if you want some,
that means Luke May went there too, right? Can't forget about the other May brother,
right?
Yeah.
And then, what's their dad's name?
That's got to be horse collar, right?
Oh, you're ahead of me.
So I got 14-0 Colorado with 40 seconds left in the first. Stanford has the ball. Ashton Daniels is at quarterback. It looks like Casey Filkins is in the backfield. And they've been running these short plays with Benjamin Urasek. I think that was just a tight end reverse there, just getting the ball into his hands. Barnabas, do you have any thoughts on Urasek as a NFL prospect?
He's fine. I don't have any strong feelings, but he's fine, which is
fine.
all you can ask for a tight end prospect, right?
Yeah.
Unless they are a crazy freak athlete, they shouldn't go in the top 2, 3, probably 3 rounds, right? Unless they're a freak athlete, which like someone like Laporta was a freak athlete, right? Someone like Dalton Kincaid, who was a 6-year guy in college and had a bad back coming out, probably shouldn't have gone that high, right? But like someone like Laporta or back in the day Noah Fant or TJ Hawkinson was even a physical freak. Even those are guys that need to go.
Forgot your Maryland boy. Go
Cole
back
Turner.
further. Cole Turner, but Vernon Davis.
Vernon Davis.
One of
sure,
my
we'll give you that.
favorite of all time.
Yeah,
Vernon Davis
kidding
was one of the best video game players of all time. Like, in comparison to what they did actually on the field, Vernon Davis was one of the best video game players of all time.
He ran what, like
Vernon
4.39 as a tight end?
Was not bad.
He wasn't bad, but he's not a Hall of Famer.
He wasn't a game changer. Yeah, he was
not a game changer.
Yeah.
And everybody thought when he ran that 40 time that he was going to be. People thought the same thing about Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram ran a faster 40 time than Odell Beckham. They're in the same class.
Evan Ingram's not a tight end.
Kyle Pitts.
Yes.
Malik Sherrod looks good tonight, by the way.
Oh, is Fresno State?
Elijah Gilliam's out.
About
right?
time.
Gilliam,
he's not out. He's been playing.
He's got 3 carries for 2 yards. Gilliam.
Okay, so he got bent. He essentially got relegated for Sherrod, which was
Sherrod looks fully healthy for the first time.
Give Elijah Gilliam a scholarship.
I think they did.
Yeah, give him a scholarship.
I think
they did.
I think I think he's on scholarship now.
Oh, good.
The Felix pressure.
We did it. We did it.
Worked.
We accomplished
They gave him the scholarship, and then the other guy got healthy, so now he's not going to play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that Sherrod is like good when he's actually healthy. That is like the least surprising thing ever.
Let's see what is happening here.
I'm more surprised that this game is going to go over with Logan Fife at quarterback.
Fife was because he got to play a little bit last year, right? And he
did because Jake got hurt.
And he was terrible last year. He's
well, I don't think he's very good.
No, but I mean, last year it was like, and I know Jake Hayner's better than your average quarterback, but the drop off was just
Jake Hader is the man.
The drop off was significant. Yeah,
Jake Hader might be one of the greatest of all time.
I mean, even the drop off between Mikey Keene and Fife, I think, was significant. I'm actually surprised how well the Fresno State offense has played, but I think a lot of that is actually a running game, which is cooking against, I think, a bad Utah State defensive line.
I was very wrong on Fresno State just in general this year. I did not expect Fresno State to be able to replace the amount of big time producers they had offensively and just sort of keep it going. But they've been good. I mean,
it wasn't even big time producers, right? It was just producers, period, right? Like,
well, it was Hayner, they were
Hayner, Cropper, Nico Remigio,
Josh
Kelly transferred,
they lost
the
what,
other
like
running back.
89% of their production.
Jordan
or something?
Mims.
That was the number. Yeah,
Jordan Mims.
So they, according to my numbers, they brought back 43%. That does include some incoming transfers. It's adjusted for incoming transfers.
Oh, okay.
I can pull up the raw numbers using the CFP Winning Edge returning production database via the Campus to Canton C2C Winning Edge tier.
You want to put that on the screen, Nick? Can you put it on the screen?
Yeah, I can try to do that.
You can just share your screen and add it to the screen so people can see it. People who don't know.
Is it? It's on a second.
Is that LA or Louisiana? I'm pretty sure I'm going to UCLA. Oh, I guess it's LA then. I used to go out to football camp there at UCLA.
Let's see here.
Best
Justin Lamson
best cafeteria food that I've had.
Justin Lamson just came in for a short yardage 3rd down and converted on a QB draw, by the way, for Stanford. Not the role that I was projecting him.
See my screen here. So Fresno State, 103rd overall returning production, 43.3% on offense, 112th. That is adjusted for incoming transfers as well, which includes Mikey Keene. Let's see.
You can get all this data, the C2C winning edge package at campus2canton.com for all 133 FBS teams, depth charts, projected spreads, returning production data. I mean, it's a comprehensive look at college football.
Yeah. So the way I have it calculated, which is a little bit different than what Bill Connolly does, not very much, but a little bit. 35% came back, so 116th just in last year's roster to this year's roster. So yeah, I have been impressed that they've been able to have the level of continuity and just replace those guys because they were good players, obviously.
And Nick, you're speaking to the offense only, right?
That was just on offense, but I mean they were middle of the pack defensively, so not and their defense is playing top 25 level. Top 20.
That's what I was going to say.
Performance right now.
I mean their front seven has been nails, and I mean they got a couple players in their secondary, at least when healthy, that can do some serious damage against.
Well, and they haven't been healthy. They haven't had Justin Houston all year.
At least all
Cam
year.
Lockridge is out. Isaiah Johnson's been banged up. Who is the other guy just before? Lavelle Bailey, just before tonight he's playing, right? He's in.
Yeah, he's in, but I mean Lockridge was the big loss. But
they've been really good. Just in general, good team. Post game win expectancy numbers, 3 straight 100% performances. That includes. I mean, they played better against Arizona State than Colorado did.
Yeah, they're going to beat Utah State tonight. I at least I think. I mean, they're up by 6, but I really do think they're going to pull it out.
Be a lot cooler if they were up by less than 6.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the game that we're supposed to talk about tonight. I mean, Stanford is essentially year 1 or year 0, right? Under Troy Taylor, like this is not a legitimate football season.
Yeah,
like,
they're lower in returning production than Fresno State.
Yeah, it's such a tough situation that Troy Taylor is like accepted.
Well, not just talent, the ability. You can only recruit a certain type of player to go to Stanford.
Yeah, and it sucks because
I'm with you, Jim. I need Vaughn too.
Stanford, Northwestern, Vanderbilt, like the Duke, a lot of those high-end schools who are like pretty rigorous academically are certainly held back. And Stanford is one of the schools, especially, that does not play ball with their graduate admissions. So, like, the admissions programs for their graduate schools
the thing.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you actually need to do something legit. Like, we're not just going to accept, like, a general studies major into the program. Like, their grad school is very, very strict, which is why you see a bunch of dudes transfer out after 4 years and
2 places
don't
like
the program.
Duke and Northwestern.
Yeah. Stanford is, until their grad department plays ball, I mean, they're going to struggle a lot.
They have loosened it up a little bit on incoming transfers, which has been good. But yeah, for the most part, at least in recent years, it's been kind of like the Ivy League type setup. Like, all right, 4 years and you're out of here.
Yeah, no, it's been really tough. I don't think people would necessarily realize like how difficult it's become for Stanford football players. Like, I mean, 4 years and you're out unless you're really pursuing a graduate degree of some significance. Like, that's tough to build a program out of. Like, a lot of programs that are in that level of, like that level just in general are relying on like fifth or sixth year guys to lead their program. Like,
I want to address this question from the comments from because James Marks in the Discord actually asked this question too. Thoughts on Amarian Miller long term interpreting flash in the pan games like USC feels hard. It does feel hard. It feels hard because Travis Hunter was also out that game. That's when he got his opportunity. But Amarian Miller has some good length to him, has some good speed. He shows some body control in that game that he blew up. I can't remember which one it was, but along the sideline.
USC.
All you can really.
Also, Xavier Weaver was in and out of that game as well. Yeah.
And Xavier Weaver is going to be out after this year. I don't think he's a fifth or sixth year, so he can't have eligibility after this season. So there's going to be an opportunity to step up into a starting role. And I think that's all. I mean, from a player that you're going to get off the waiver wire, and you're going to get Amarian Miller off the waiver wire, it's really all you can ask for is them to show some flashes and have opportunity in a good scheme. And this is going to be a good scheme next year as long as Sean Lewis stays there. I don't even think that's a guarantee that he stays there. But if he does,
do you think he stays there?
I mean, there's a chance that he stays. There's a chance that he gets offered, a job somewhere else, a head coaching job.
What jobs are open?
Right now, Michigan State and Northwestern.
Oh, Michigan State's a job, I guess.
But we can.
I mean, Northwestern's not a job that anyone wants.
No. Sean Lewis at
pretty good job security.
Michigan State kind of makes some sense. I mean, that's his stomping ground.
Sean Lewis to Michigan State. It does make sense. It does make sense.
I could almost see Northwestern being a little more because I mean at Kent State, like he was a buzzy name for a little while, but he just didn't win enough. And Michigan State, I think this. I don't know. People might laugh at me here because I was pretty high on Tucker after the good year that they had. I think you can win a national championship. Yeah, I think you can win a national championship at Michigan State. Like I lived in Lansing for a short period and kind of fell in love with East Lansing. I could imagine that the right person can really put it together there.
They love college football there. They love college basketball there too. It's one of the schools that does both well. There aren't that many schools out there that do both well. Either you have a football school or a basketball school, but Michigan State, periodically is playing well in both.
I think the concern with Sean Lewis is I was going to say the concern with Sean Lewis is that he can't manage a program effectively enough, especially at a high level. Like, he's way more suited to be an offensive coordinator, and I kind of think that is ultimately true. Like, he's not a program manager, and I mean, sending him to the Power Five, regardless of where you think he could end up, it might be an issue. And I mean, he did well at Kent State. Like, Kent State is not an easy job.
It's one of the
that's a really, really tough job.
Yeah.
But
why? Because it's in the MAC. What? Why are you guys saying that it's a?
I mean, they have other than
no
producing
resources.
Hall of Fame head coaches, they have zero history, right?
Yeah.
What was Nick Saban? No, was Nick Saban at Kent State or Toledo?
Nick Saban was there. James, the Washington coach, Don James was there. Who else? It's not Miami of Ohio, but it's had some people come through, but they've just never won consistently. Like, they had that one year with Daryl Hazel, where they won like 11 games, and that was just a complete blip on their history.
They just don't. They're like the third or fourth team in Ohio in the MAC to attract talent, and they don't have the resources to do so. So when you're already the third or fourth team in the MAC behind all the FBS schools, you're gonna struggle. I actually think Kent State is one of the worst jobs in the country, like bottom 5 or 10 job. So I'm not surprised.
14-0 Colorado. I got 10:30 in the second.
You got to hit
Colorado's
go at the next commercial break, Felix. You're like,
what? How much time do you have left? In the
I'm
second?
delayed 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. UMass is probably the toughest.
Okay, Power 5, though, Northwestern's bottom 5, right? Like,
so Northwestern
has money, though.
They have money, and it's a place where it's like
location.
Stanford.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they weren't going to fire Fitzgerald unless he did something like, to get fired, like what ended up happening. And Stanford was the same with David Shaw. He would have coached there for 50 years if he didn't quit. So it just seems, I don't know, it seems like a place where if you want to just go and coach football for a while and have a pretty good job security and every so often, maybe things line up and you have a really, really good season. But I don't know. What I said about Michigan State, where I think you can win a national championship, I don't think you can at Northwestern. But we've seen Northwestern in the last couple of decades at times fairly consistently pop in and out of the top 25. I mean, they can be a Duke. I mean, we've seen Duke, pop up a little undercut left in the last 2 years, been really good. But there's there's Weaver. That's nice.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my question then. What was Harbaugh doing that was getting them better results than whatever Shaw was doing for all that time? Like what?
Andrew Luck.
Okay, that's 3 years. Andrew Luck, and then Okay.
Well, Richard Sherman before that, who played offense, right, in his first couple of years.
Wide receiver, converted to corner.
But I mean, Harbaugh is just a really good coach. I don't know. Shaw inherited a pretty. He started at a pretty high level and then was able to take it one more step from where Harbaugh left it, and then it kind of was a pretty steady decline over the last 8-9 years.
Did Colorado just convert that kicker?
They did.
Well,
they did.
What was that? Was that the holder rushing it?
You think that was unnecessary?
Yes, it was unnecessary, but I liked it. I'm not going to complain about it. I love it. Yeah, he was definitely in.
What's the temperature in Colorado? Everybody's got these jackets on.
It's probably fucking cold.
30s? It was 80 degrees here in Louisville today, so no idea.
It was nice here too in Raleigh. Gotta be honest. Let's see what is the temperature in Boulder?
Yeah, Chris is the weather guy, right?
Yeah, I like to think of myself. It's 40 degrees right now, so that's cold. We got a freeze warning for tomorrow morning, which means that it's
in
not
Raleigh
comfortable right now. No, in Boulder.
in Boulder.
Boulder's getting
in
tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. It's gonna be 31.
That's cooler than it is in the Barry Montpelier micropolitan area.
I was gonna say. I mean,
we've got an overnight low of 38. That's not.
Wow.
They're gonna have to close Flower Power.
Northern Vermont.
Central Vermont.
Central Vermont.
But it's a small state, so we're.
I was gonna say
we're like an hour from the border.
Central Rhode Island.
So I was gonna say when we were talking about the worst Power 5 jobs earlier, I think Texas Tech might be the worst, like legit Power 5.
It's a hard job, but I don't know. They got it cranked up. Georgia Tech, I think, is actually a pretty good job.
I do
it's
too.
Got some academic
Georgia Tech is
stuff.
legit.
Well,
if
they're in
you're
a
coaching
big
at
city
Georgia Tech,
too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta is the number one, or at least like a top 3 location for
Travis Kelce
like,
is on
football
every
talent.
commercial. What was this? Was this the same last year?
No, it was this year.
Yeah, but
that's why the Taylor Swift thing feels like a little like this is coordinated because
but the commercials started coming out before the Taylor Swift thing came out. So like,
but almost simultaneously, right?
It was like a couple weeks apart, but yeah.
He has a Pfizer commercial. There's like 4 or 5 different brands that he's. There's no LeBron James isn't even on TV as much as Travis Kelce right now.
Well, LeBron James is a much more polarizing figure. Yeah, that too, but he's also a much more polarizing.
Wait, you think LeBron James is more polarized? Is a polarizing figure?
Yeah. Do you think Travis Kelce is a polar? Sorry. Okay. Well,
but LeBron James is much more recognizable. I never thought that Travis Kelce was just this superstar.
EJ Smith.
You guys are way ahead of me. I got 8:42 left in the second.
Oh yeah, you guys are ahead of me too. Oh, look at this return for
he's going to return this kick.
By the way, Mox, I like your random tweet. What was it last week about Georgetown player? Like, how do you return that? Every once in a while, you'll just throw out a random FCS, and
So I
pay attention. I'm not sure if there are many others like me. But.
No, what's funny is that like I watch like a lot of like FCS games, like way more than the average person does. Like I'm flipping through them like back and forth all the time on ESPN Plus, and I mean the return that Georgetown kid did was like from the 2-yard line or something like that, and he got like 3 yards. Like it was embarrassing.
Well, I mean, the guy's going to be a lawyer in however many years.
Yeah,
okay, but Georgetown's actually been good, right? Like Georgetown and Hopkins.
Georgetown's been bad. They're better this
year. Hopkins was good though.
Georgetown. So they're D3.
Yeah,
I know they're good. Like D1 national champion in lacrosse, I think, but they're D3.
Oh well, as a Maryland grad, I have to say we're kind of the Alabama football of the college lacrosse world. It's a down year when we don't make it to the Final Four.
Hey, this is field hockey out for Albany, territory.
We smoked Albany it was like 24-7 or something last year.
That's because the brothers graduated, or the triplets graduated, whatever their names were.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ashton Daniels is in for Stanford. I mean, he's the future of the program, I think, right?
He looked like it in week 1, but couldn't nail down the job. So I don't know. I'm not a recruiting person. He's
a redshirt freshman, so his age would indicate that he's the future of the program. And
sorry.
No, I was just saying for a redshirt freshman, he's played fine. I don't think that they're going to have another kid come and unseat him as a true freshman. I don't really care who it is. So at least this year,
they brought in Miles Jackson in this class, right?
Yeah,
that sounds right.
Anyone bothered by Ashton Daniels' weird throwing motion, though?
I have a question about throwing motions. So I never quite bought in on Preston Stone, but I didn't really have a whole lot of reason for that. I know that there were some folks who were pretty high on him, but he's got a real funky, he throws darts, right?
I can't.
Is it elongated or is he more
no?
short,
It's like from the ear,
like Vince Young? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's that Vince Young motion where there's no wind up. It's just from arm to.
Oh, Vince Young had a
Preston Stone
weird
is like
motion.
Johnny Manziel light.
Johnny Manziel was all personality. He didn't really. I'm okay. I'm okay with. I like that motion better than I like Ashton Daniels has that loop that like taller quarterbacks get trapped into, and that just never works out well in my opinion. But maybe that's just me.
I'm not sure I'm not sure Ashton Daniels is an NFL quarterback, but I do think that he is potentially good enough to be a like quality enough starter in what was the former Pac-12. What Stanford's what in the
ACC?
Jesus Christ! Of course they are. Also, like I'm watching this game and I'm like, oh, Ashton Daniels. You know, I think he's a pretty solid athlete. I think he's good enough rusher. Who is their short yardage quarterback? It's Justin Lamson. Are you kidding me? Like, why? How does that make any sense? Like, he's converted multiple third downs and fourth downs at this point, but is Justin Lamson the guy you want on third and fourth and short? I mean, just converted, so I guess it's working, but still.
So Taylor played multiple quarterbacks a lot at Sac State. I wonder if that's gonna continue. Because let's see,
he also had Scatabo doing a whole bunch of weird stuff too.
Mm-hmm. I'm now gonna share the C2C Winning Edge statistical projections. Take a look at the history here. So at Sac State, last couple of years, it was Jake Dunaway and Asher O'Hara. Both guys had over 100 passing attempts, and they ran the ball a lot with the quarterback. Like the unadjusted QB rushing numbers were. I mean, they had 71.5 yards per game from the quarterback.
Zoom in on your screen, Nick, so folks can take a look at the data that you're seeing there. Yeah.
So here's quarterback run numbers from Troy Taylor, Sacramento State. 71.5 yards per game last year, almost 50 the year before. And then the quarterbacks, I'll zoom out just a little bit. The passing numbers, Dunaway. So they turned the ball over a lot, which is I didn't really watch very much Sac State, but they definitely did have 15 interceptions last year. But Asher O'Hara had almost 10%. Almost 10% of his passes were touchdowns. So they can scheme it up pretty well.
Very aggressive downfield offense.
Okay, I now have an opinion on Preston Stone's throwing motion after watching a number of clips. Felix, you're muted. But I think part of the problem is that Preston Stone keeps the ball very low. Like he keeps that thing below the shoulder pad, and I think that's kind of what leads to that short. I think also he has short arms, and so between keeping it too low and short arms, I think he's kind of does that little zip thing. Which I would still rather have than big loop that if you remember Tyree Jackson back in the day, for Buffalo, he had that big old looping rocket, but he could just nail that thing in there so much so that the coaches the combine had to tell him to ease up on the what is the gauntlet drill because he was just pegging guys.
Tyree Jackson I think ended up switching to tight end if I remember correctly.
Yeah, on the Eagles, that's right. Yeah. But yeah. I think I would still rather the shorter motion, but yeah, I don't think either of those are playable at the next level. That's just going to lead to a lot of fumbles, like right? Because like, how tall is Preston Stone? Like 6'2", 6'3"? Like he's not.
He's even shorter than that.
Yeah. Like he's not.
Like,
I don't know. I was
6
just
foot 5'11".
Yeah, I mean, I was just watching tapes. So I don't even know, but like, from that,
6'1",
like, he's gonna
listed at 6'1".
Yeah, he's gonna get balls hitting the back of his linemen's helmets like constantly if he does that at the next level. So,
question about what separates Georgia Tech from Northwestern. That's probably my bias talking. I grew up in the Atlanta area and spent some time around Georgia Tech, and it's just I don't know. It always kind of appealed to me, even though I ended up going to Georgia. It just, I don't know. I always thought it had a cool vibe, and then Atlanta specifically, and Georgia more so as a whole, there's just a lot more talent than, even though Illinois and being close to Chicago is of course a major population center. There's just not as much talent and close by. So I can't say for sure the academics, which one is tougher to get guys in and all of that. I know at Georgia Tech, there's sort of a little bit of a joke where if you're a football player, you're a management major because they just that's the athletes or management majors. But so I don't know if Northwestern has a similar situation or not, but having less firsthand experience in the Chicagoland area and Northwestern, I don't know. It's probably my bias more than anything, but just seems to me that Georgia Tech's just a little bit better spot.
Listen, I lived in Atlanta for 8 years, and I can tell you that there's no bias in that opinion. The talent there is substantially better, and even if you're getting third or fourth, like, pick at that talent, you're gonna end up a lot better than Northwestern is. Just bottom line, even if you have the same academic standards. I mean, Northwestern is picking just already from a diminished pool in Illinois and like surrounding areas. That's the reality
moving
of the situation.
forward, Northwestern's in the Big Ten West. The divisions are going away. So, will the schedule get tougher? Probably. And the ACC things are a little flatter. Don't have, 3 top 10 programs to deal with. That Northwestern's probably going to see a little bit more consistently, at least 2 of them maybe per year. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like Northwestern is probably has the potential to be a good job, and my thoughts on the job security, that appeals maybe to some people where you don't have to worry that if you have one non-bowl season, you're going to lose your job.
No, that's absolutely true because, I mean, look at the facilities they built under Fitzgerald and like how much they've done. I mean, that is a very wealthy program. Bring it back to the game.
And Georgia Tech's not. They have some financial troubles or have had.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, they do not have the boosters that
might
they
be
need
an
to.
ACC thing.
Yeah, yeah, right. So Shedeur got sacked on the first play of the drive. Hit Hunter on the outside the second play. I mean, how worried are we at this point that Shedeur is taking sacks that are largely on him? Because, I mean, he held the ball for a while on that first play.
I'd rather you get sacked than throw an interception. So we can live with 2nd and 13 or 2nd and 15.
But
and Travis Hunter went over his.
What was what did? How many yards does Hunter have?
Travis Hunter went over.
He's
his
over
67 in his ass in the first half.
Great.
There was me see if I can find the data viz. I thought I saw somebody put together some numbers of like time,
that should
like time in the pocket and sacks and Shedeur Sanders was like in the extreme quadrant, far removed from everybody else. Just seemed to. There's Weaver again. That's 3 T's. Just taking too much time and a large percentage of the sacks seem like they might be on him specifically.
I mean, that tracks
I
with
don't
what
think we
I've
had
seen from
Colorado blowing anybody out on the season. I mean, when we had this conversation early on, you looked at their roster.
prior to the
you look at
season,
their
heck
schedule.
no.
It was, no.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all were impressed with Colorado tearing apart that TCU secondary that was on paper supposedly going to be very good this season. They've been playing not as good as we thought they would be good this year, but like, but at the same time, that's where we kind of all went, oh, okay, there might be something to Colorado. But yeah, I don't know that we saw blowout, but if they were going to blow someone out, it was going to be Stanford, right? Like Arizona State at least has some weapons on offense. They can try to keep up, but there's nothing on offense at Stanford, right? Which is the difference.
Well, and that game was on the road.
Sure. Yeah.
Felix would know better than the rest of us. Haven't seen the new Colorado at a home game, but I would imagine that the home field advantage factor has probably gone up quite a bit in Boulder.
This is what I would say about that. So when I think about Florida State or Michigan or even Michigan State, they have these coordinated chants, and it feels really intimidating. None of that exists, at least in game one at Colorado. Yes, it was a lot of people there, and they were making noise, but the intimidation factor, if you go to Texas A&M and everybody's moving in the same direction,
they have like practices, right? Yeah,
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It's not like it wasn't like that at Colorado. So, I mean, I think I heard one, even like a go Buffs, but like it's all that stuff is just absent. Now, they might get it, in year 2 or year 3, but it wasn't there in that week 2 game against Nebraska.
They got to get Peggy to sit them all down and teach them the cheers they've been doing for 40 years.
Yeah. That's is that the old fan, the 100-year-old fan?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're yawning. This was your idea. I gotta be up for the tailgate. 3 of us are going to be on the tailgate. The guy whose idea it was isn't. His name's not on the sheet.
I will not be on. I'll probably call in, but I'll not be on.
I don't have to come on until the very end. So,
Derek,
you're always there, though. Are you locked in even when you're not on the screen?
I am. I'm usually placing my bets for the day while you guys are talking. To be honest with you.
Who's driving tomorrow? Is it Austin or Colin?
It's Austin.
Austin?
Fresno State just picked off Laga, 37-32, 55 seconds left. Fresno State's going to survive.
God damn it.
As is my bet for that game, so huzzah. Thanks, Nick.
As is my projection.
Yeah, I heavily use your projections.
Oh, nice. Last few weeks they've been all right.
Yeah.
So I bet over 57.5 at open, and regretted it like almost immediately because I didn't realize how hurt Mikey Keene was. I thought that he was like, I'll come back in this game hurt, and not like I'm gonna miss this game hurt. And that didn't seem to matter. So, all right.
Yeah, his did not look as bad as Leonard's. Like I will be very surprised if Riley Leonard plays tomorrow. Just based on
on that note, how do we feel about Henry Bellin?
Is he the
I
backup?
actually don't think he's that bad.
Who is that?
He is the backup at Duke. That's correct. Yeah. I have been holding on to both him and Riley Leonard for like 2 seasons now in C2C, but which I know. Why are we investing in the Duke offense? I get it. Okay.
I like Moore. What do you think of Moore? The guy who was apparently, reportedly, rumor has it, neck and neck with Riley Leonard until week 1 last year. Converted to wide receiver, learning on the job. Had a really good finish last season. I was expecting a big bump, like first full off season. Okay, now I'm a wide receiver. Now I actually know what I'm going to do. But he hasn't emerged quite as well as I had hoped, or as quickly as I had hoped.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of people who liked him. But I mean, I like Henry Bellin. If I was like to bet this game, and I actually think I might, I think Duke -3 is the right play. I think the Duke defense is kind of legit, and I actually really don't have a lot of confidence in the NC State offense, even with MJ Morris under center, and I think Duke's really taken a step forward. They retained a lot of guys in the front 7, like from the offseason. I think they bolstered the corners and the safeties at least a little bit. So I mean, I like Duke here honestly a lot, and I don't mind. I think Bellin is a good player.
Well, okay. Here's the thing, right? NC State's offensive line is not as good as usual, right? This year.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
and
right.
And then neither is their defense.
But the important point is this, right? Like Duke's defense is good-ish if you look at their stats, but like they are small, right? Like do they have a single player over 300 pounds on the defensive line? Like it's a small defense. Well, I mean they play bigger than they are. Yeah.
Carter's listed at 303. Franklin's listed at 307, but yeah, their
defense is like a legit,
They're not. They don't have
really
like
good
330s.
Right. They don't have like those "you ain't moving me" types. Like they're moving. If you push them, they're moving. Right. Like
But does that matter versus NC State?
Well, no, that's my point. NC State with like Chandler Zavala and whoever else they had across from him, like last year, like they stand a chance against that defense. But like in a season like this season where the offensive line's just not holding up, that front 7's going to eat them alive. Like no matter who's under the center. I stand by, lefties can't really receivers don't like lefties. And I also stand by that. I don't think coaches know how to call plays for lefties, but that's maybe a separate conversation. But
no, I mean, I'm right there with you. I mean, I think Duke wins this game.
Kalen DeBoer does. Kalen DeBoer does.
Yeah, well, Kalen DeBoer is a godsend.
Who's the co-defensive coordinator at Washington? Chuck Morrell? Is that his name? He's not the play caller.
I mean, that him and the well, I don't want to say that on this a live broadcast. But the secondary coach is a pretty renowned guy too.
So, Chuck Morrell, co-defensive coordinator, safeties coach, was the head coach at Montana Tech in Butte, America, from 2011 to 2019. And I was a spotter for Montana Tech in 2011 and 2012. Chuck Morrell took over as head coach from Bob Green, which if you've seen the YouTube videos of Bob Green, former Montana Tech head coach, I'm sure you have. Bob Green. Oh yeah. He's every couple of years, those start making the rounds. I bumped into him at a bar in Uptown Butte after a Montana Tech game. And he's just as funny as all those videos. But just wanted to throw that out there. Any chance I get to mention Montana Tech and the Ordinators.
What does spotter mean?
Spotter? So like for their stats, because somebody's on the computer, they need somebody to say like, pass number 3, target to number 3, caught 12 yards, first down, left hash, first and 10, plus 28, whatever. So I did that for 2 years in Butte, America, which is a place. That's what they call
it. Nick has moved from literally everywhere in the world, everywhere in the U.S. at least.
I've lived in 9 states in the last 10 years, I think. Well, 8 states in 1 territory. So.
Puerto Rico.
That's right.
Have you lived abroad?
Well, what do you consider Puerto Rico? Some would say yes, but no.
Puerto Rico.
My brother lives in.
This is a pro Puerto Rico statehood podcast.
My brother lives in Indonesia right now. He's lived in China, Vietnam, Brazil, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. He's more the world traveler. I'm more the domestic traveler.
I see.
Yeah. So. You watching Bob Green videos, Felix?
Yeah, I'm muted. Yeah. Yes, I was. I don't know what's wrong with mine. There we go. I was watching them. He's funny. I'm gonna watch them in bed. I think we can call this a night. Are you guys want to stay? Because I feel like I'm the only one who can end it. I think I'm the only one.
I can end it as well. But
okay. I'll let you guys.
I mean, we got Colorado.
I think Colin has shown that anyone can end it, but
well, Chris,
so I'm still consider myself new here. Why is everybody picking on Colin all the time? What did I miss?
That wasn't me picking on Colin. That was me legitimately recalling something that Colin did at some point. That's just to put that out there. I have no.
Listen, I love Colin. Awesome guy. Super hard worker too behind the scenes, and like he does not get enough credit for what he does for like all of us, just like handling emails and like some customer service aspects and whatnot. But it's just fun to pick on Colin. That's the bottom line.
I've noticed a lot of people have fun with it. So, Colin, if you're out there, I'm trying to stick up for you, buddy.
Yeah, no, it's just like a pastime. The one thing that I'll say before I probably end it here. Did Stanford have any chance tonight?
No. So this probably doesn't make any sense, but my thought was the game was going to go one of 2 ways. Stanford was going to come out, have a good opening drive, nice. My brain's not working right now. A scripted drive, right? Get in the end zone, maybe take an early lead, and then be able to sort of take the control of the tempo of the game a little bit, and then kind of ugly it up, make it a lower scoring game, keep it close, and then Colorado still was probably going to win. But that was, in my opinion, how Stanford was going to cover, or what has happened would happen where Colorado just comes out, with just too much speed and able to get up early, and Stanford's just not even though they're not the same style of offense they were before, or the 5 tight ends on the field at the same time and super big and slow and all that. That's not who they want to be anymore, but they're just not built to be able to come back from getting down, 2 touchdowns early. And so it just seemed like the kind of game where, now we see Colorado's probably going to win something like 45-3.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. I mean, I liked what I saw from Stanford, but what are you gonna do here? I mean, you're in a situation where you're basically just like playing for points, right? I mean, you're not.
Ooh, there's Tiger Brockmeyer.
Yeah, that was a great catch. That's crazy. It's not a catch, but it's not a catch.
I think he dropped it.
Yeah.
I didn't see the replay.
It's a throw.
Hubsy Wubs. The spotting is fun. Fortunately, at the NAIA level, or at least in 2011, it wasn't super fast, and I had just come from a short-lived high school coaching career where I did a lot of that, so I was sort of still in the swing of things. It would probably be much tougher on me right now, but you sort of get in a rhythm with it and can spot things pretty quick. You just know immediately, all right, down, distance, yard line, hash. I don't know. You get used to it.
That wasn't. I mean, yes, that was an incompletion, but I didn't feel like it was so obvious for Bachmeier. I mean, the ground controlled a little bit of possession. I mean, what is at the same time though? I mean, what is Asher Daniels doing? Like, what is he trying to accomplish on 3rd and 16?
He's trying to run the half out.
Get into the locker room.
I'm surprised Prime didn't call a timeout there, because I feel like that's a Prime thing to do. But he was just trying.
Did they have timeouts left?
They had a timeout left. Yes, they had a single timeout.
Yeah,
left.
they might have.
Well, we didn't talk a whole lot about Stanford and Colorado, but so far Colorado looked pretty good.
We were all
Xavier Weaver looked good
tonight.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
we'll take 3 tutties. I'm playing Edna Beast mode today in the NIL league, or this week. So really got to get back on track on that college side.
I have Xavier Weaver in one league, and it's one that after last week I decided, all right, I'm selling. I am sitting at 500, but I'm in like 10th. It's a 20-person league, so I figured, well, my team's just not as good as these top teams. I'm going to sell, and Weaver's gone off. I had Legault as well. He had 37 points, so I might be a much depleted team, but I might pick up a win this week. So I guess
I'm in the opposite situation as you. I'm also 500, but I'm second in the league in scoring, and so
I was top 5 in the league in scoring.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting here. I sold a lot of NFL assets because I was done with Keenan Allen. I figure he's going to get hurt every year from now on, and I was kind of done with Amari Cooper as well. So just didn't want to have anything to do with that Browns offense, so I sold it all for a trade that Austin would berate me for years if he could. But I'm hoping to take it over the top on the college side. So it's certainly a risk. But if you're going to pay the same payout on the college and the NFL sides, then I think you just got to pick one and go for it.
That's definitely my strategy. And I have, oddly enough, my only C2C league before this year was a C2C IDP league that I'm in with a bunch of people that I don't really know. But nobody else pays very much attention to the college side. So I've just been like, well, I guess I'll take it. And so that's been good. But
well, I can tell you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, Felix invited me to the League of Record, and a lot of C2C, from folks from the site are there, and they were a little surprised that I went out and just said, "All right, I'm just going to go CFF only and don't care about getting freshmen." And so I'm gone for broke. Didn't start out as well as I had hoped, but I still feel like I'm in the mix. But it's going to be try to win it in year one, and then might be a long rebuild.
Fair enough. I will say for your IDP league, I did watch Darian Mayo today. He's the edge for Good Counsel. He's going to Clemson. He's listed at 6'7". I think all these Good Counsel kids are inflated by about 2 inches and about 20 pounds. But he's listed at 6'7", 250, and he didn't make many plays during the game. But once it came into crunch time, where it was like less than a minute left, and in overtime, he just turned it on and was making tackles left and right. And there were like 3 straight holding calls against Dematha in overtime because he was just unblockable. So if he can turn it on, he can get going. So that's a name to watch in my book. So, but anyway, I think we're wrapping up here. So
yeah, I think so. Well, enjoyed it.
See you all tomorrow morning.
Thanks everybody for joining us. And we'll be Barnabas and I and Chris, Mox. We're going to be at the tailgate tomorrow. So
yeah, nice and early.
Felix is sleeping in, but we will be there.
Nice and early.
Enjoyed it. Enjoy the second half. Get some sleep. See everybody tomorrow.
Yes, everyone. We're up 29-0 for Colorado. I mean, y'all don't need to stress. Y'all don't need to worry. Just sleep it off, and you'll be all set.
Only stress for people who bet the under on this game. So
exactly. Thank you both.
We're projected
for
under
being
59.5. So
thank you both for being on, and it was a good time.
All right, sounds good.